And welcome to the championship game. Here, joining me in the booth is Dana Hillier. Dana, what do you think of this championship?
Joe, I'm so excited to be here. I'm not exactly sure why I have been entrusted with these responsibilities, but I'm going to do my best. So, excited.
Okay, great. And who do we have playing today?
Well, today we have the 8-2 Rockies versus the 6-4 Rays.
That's right, and the Rockies have been hot in the NL. They have the MVP of the league, Blake Spencer, on their team, and also the Rookie of the Year, Grant Boyd. Rounding them out will be Brian Kenney. For the Rays, their captain, breaking the single-season home run record this season, is Paul Castellano. Chris Meador got a Gold Glove, and rounding them out will be Derek Thompson. And just like Mulan, we say, let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. And by defeat the Huns, we mean win the SWBL championship.
You know, Joe, I think it's important that we talk about this blustery wind we have today.
That's true. It's coming from behind us and heading out towards right field. It will be definitely help the batters. That's for sure. We have some fan interference. Thank God it's not a streaker. Paul Castellano goes deep, and Dana, that's something we saw all season from him this year.
We sure did.
There seems to be a little bit of confusion. It should be Chris Meador up to bat. There we go, throwing the balls back to Blake Spencer, and we'll get started.
You know, a scoreboard would be very helpful in these games.
That's true. We found that having the stat keeper in the booth with us, or at least someone to keep track of it, really helps us out because sometimes we're too busy making color commentary. Goes that one in for a ball. And that one looks to be foul, but it had the distance, helped out a little bit by this wind coming from behind us, Dana.
Sure did. What I find so interesting about this is the batters just stand and the balls often hit them. And I don't know that I could handle watching a ball come at me and just hit me in the head as many of our batters do.
Well, Dana, you know, this being an official wiffle sanctioned league, they are using the standard 8-hole wiffle balls and the 32-inch wiffle bats. As we'll have a play at first, and Chris Meador decides to go too. He'll hold up there. And that'll bring in Derek Thompson, looking to extend the Rays' lead in the top of the first here. Blake Spencer is settling in now. He throws that one in for a strike.
It's not easy to throw a strike. Absolutely
not. Especially with this wind. That's got to be tough, considering they're throwing the wiffle balls. Derek Thompson throws. Blake goes for the play at first, and that'll bring Chris Meador into home. And that'll bring back up the Rays captain, Paul Castellano.
He's so cute.
What'd you think of Paul, Dana? He gave you some good advice before we started the broadcast.
I know. Paul's all about just playing with your heart. I appreciate that about him. Great captain.
It's good to see. He's obviously done good things for his team.
You know, not only do we have a much larger crowd today, I would say the atmosphere is different today than it has been.
The players have locked it in, Dana. They are geared up and focused. You can definitely tell when we arrived it was a completely different atmosphere. Paul Castellano looks for his pitch. And he says, hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but you left that one over the plate, so home run maybe.
That was a good one, Joe.
Thanks, been working on these all day, Dana. Chris Meador back up to bat. Blake Spencer looking to get out of this inning. He definitely wants his chance at the plate, considering he won the home run derby, and his team definitely knows what they're doing at the plate. He's just got to get out of this inning, Dana.
Sure does, Joe.
And that one's carried foul. Yeah, that you can tell when it gets up there and the wind takes it. We've seen a few dust storms out here.
Yeah, where was our ground crew before the final game?
I believe they were enjoying an ice-cold Budweiser. Oh, and that one sneaks by. I actually got a little bit confused there because he kicked a few of the wiffle balls that were on the mound. That'll bring back up Derek Thompson. Ooh, just inside there. Grant Boyd out in the outfield. Clearly not. And Grant tries to make the play on Chris Meador, but is unable to. It's good to get the out there, though.
I hear he was blaming the wind on that one, Joe.
Derek lamenting that the wind actually stopped when he hit that ball, which is frustrating because that ball would have been carried out, no doubt, with the wind. Ooh, just dinks on the top for a strike. Wind blowing strong now, blowing our papers and rustling around. And that's got to be tough on the pitchers. You can really tell the difference, Dave.
As Winnie the Pooh would say, it is a blustery day.
A blustery day indeed. The sun working its way through the field. You see the plate is in shadows and the pitcher in the sun, obviously. And that's a play at second. That'll end the inning. Dana will be back with the bottom of the second after this. The bottom of the first after this. And we're back with the bottom of the first. The Rays got started in the top there with 4 runs, Dana. And that's right, Grant Boyd is leading off to bat. He was this year's Rookie of the Year, obviously hoping to make an impact here in the playoffs in this championship game. Oh, he tosses that one up, and what a play by the pitcher, Derek Thompson.
You know, Joe, it'd also be helpful if they had names on the back of their shirts, I have to say.
Well, you know, when you've been here all weekend, you get to know him, and this is obviously Blake Spencer up to bat. He was this year's MVP and also the Home Run Derby champion, so he definitely knows something about hitting, Dana.
He's pretty impressive. Easy on the eyes, too.
Watch it now, Dana.
Yeah.
And you can tweet that one, #gone. He gets things started here for the Rockies. And this will be Brian Kenney. You want to hit on him too, Dana?
I'll keep it at a minimum for today, Joe.
Oh, that's good to know. Oh, and Paul Castellano misses the play at first.
No.
And Brian Kenney will stay there. Oh, what a play out in the outfield by Chris Meador, and that will end the inning.
You know, Joe, I could really go for some Krieger Sports Bar and Grill toasted ravioli.
Absolutely, Dana. They are an official sponsor of the SWBL, and that'll bring us back into the top of the second with the Rays up 4-1 and looking to extend their lead. Chris Meador crushes that one, and Grant Boyd thinks about the play at first, but he'll bring it in, and Chris Meador will be safe at first. Lets that one go just inside.
Joe, I don't think you ever told the people where Tony is. I think it's important they know that he is all right.
Tony is, in fact, all right, folks. No need to worry. He had to get back to Kansas City, so he's on the road. We wish Tony all the best. I know he's listening out there. Derek Thompson lets strike 2 go by and needs to put the ball on the bat on the ball, so to speak.
Some discussion on the field.
Clearly. We hope we don't see a charging of the mound. Actually, that might be fun to see. And he crushes it. There will be a play at second, and that's the easy out. Paul Castellano back up to bat. Now, Dana, in the regular season, he had 2 games that tied the home run record with 8 home runs in a single game. That's impressive.
Extremely impressive. Who holds that record, Joe?
There's no way of knowing. That one popped up. But once again, the wind was turned off, and that will end the inning. We will be back with the bottom of the second after this. And we're back.
Looks like we are still 4-1, Rays winning, going into the bottom of the second.
That's right. This will bring up Blake Spencer, my girlfriend's new crush.
Won't argue with that, Joe.
And he hits a single.
Of course he did.
Brian Kenney, now with a runner on base, is hoping to take back some runs from the Rays. Ooh, he swings hard, but that ball was outside.
You're going into this game, Joe. Would you say that the Rockies are favored to win?
You know, it's hard to say. They have been hot, hot, hot ever since Saturday. They turned it on, and they've been playing really well. I believe they ended the season 6 wins in a row. So, but you know, the Rays have obviously been playing well all season, and they certainly have the power hitters to get it done. Should be a great matchup. Oh, and there's some frustration from Brian Kenney. That's the first bat thrown in this championship game, but certainly not the first bat of the weekend.
That's a little scary.
A little scary indeed. Grant Boyd hoping not to let the frustration get to him.
So Joe, tell me, are women allowed to play in the SWBL?
It is a point of contention. In the rules and regulations, there is no gender-specific language, so it does not specifically say that women can't play. However, the gender barrier has not been broken yet.
I can't wait for that barrier to be broken, Joe.
I bet you can't. Tony, actually, my fellow commentator for the weekend, as you know, he was playing on the Cardinals this season. He was the first player to break the city barrier, the first person to play from outside of St. Louis. We still have not yet broken the color barrier.
You know, pretty controversial, Tony, coming from Kansas City to play on the St. Louis Cardinals team.
Absolutely, it was. But you know, he wanted to get his foot in the door. It's my understanding that he wanted to have a year under his belt, and he looks to actually open up an expansion team next year. That's what the rumor is.
Exciting stuff.
It is indeed. Derek Thompson having some trouble with his control. That one's into the dirt. There'll be a play at third, and he is safe. Now, as you know, in the SWBL, there are no ghost runners, so that'll bring the runners to second and third. and bring Brian Kenney back into bat.
Folks, if you haven't, you should be making sure to be checking out the SWBL website each night. Up-to-date information, updated stats, updated records. Very well done website.
That's right. The commissioner has taken it upon himself with some late nights and make sure that the folks know. He gives the people what they want, Dana.
He sure does.
Brian Kenney reaching out for that one. Gets a piece of it. Ooh, and that one goes foul. Oh, and Dana, you clearly see the frustration. He wanted to throw that bat at the fence again. I think he heard that you got scared last time, and he did that for you.
He is taking the cake for the scary player of the day.
We'll be back after this with the top of the third. And we're back in the top of the third. The score is still 4-1. Now, Dana, since the first inning, we have not seen any scoring.
We have not, Joe.
And
lots of built-up frustration
and
happening.
that all changes right there. With a home run, Chris Meador makes it 5-1.
Joe, being Memorial Day, I think it is important that we take a few minutes to thank the men and women who fight for us every single day.
Absolutely, Dana. We cannot forget why we're here and why we're able to do things like this. Thank you to all the troops, past and present. Takes a second to collect the balls. That's one of the issues with not having a catcher in the SWBL.
Does create a lot of extra work on the players.
True. And that one's hit to the outfield, and that will be an easy single. He rounds first, thinks about going for second, but thinks better of it. Paul Castellano, obviously the heart and soul of this Rays team. Dana, we know a few seconds before the players do when that wind's going to hit because we hear it in the trees behind us as Paul, clearly frustrated, forces the force out.
Big gust of wind, Joe.
Yep. And that one popped up high. Oh, and Grant doesn't make the catch. That is, of course, off the tree, meaning it's the green monster rule. Got caught up there, but as you know, if it hits the tree and bounces back, that is a live ball.
That is one rule I did know, Joe.
Dragger.
Doesn't happen often.
That's all right, Dana. You've only been here one day. Dana, it's been quite the weekend. You always want to take time to thank the landlords of the field, Mr. and Mrs. Skibbe. Obviously, have done a great job of hosting this event. You couldn't ask for more.
Couldn't happen without them, Joe.
Absolutely not.
I wasn't really sure what to expect going into the weekend. This is the first time I've been a part of this. I'm very impressed.
They've made sure that their poodle has been out and about, ready for everyone to see, and I know you appreciate that.
Now, is Elvis considered the mascot of the SWBL?
You might say that, unofficially.
Let's make that official for the next season.
I think you might have some pull with the commissioner, so we'll see what we can do. And that was Derek Thompson just a second ago, pulling that one just foul. That would have easily brought in Paul from third. And quite a number of spectators out here for this final game.
Couldn't believe it when I pulled up, Joe. Really in shock.
And that one, and that will get the second out, meaning there is no run scored, and that will do it for the top of the third. And we're back for the bottom of the third. And now, Dana, interesting interesting note that we learned in the break. Both Paul Castellano and Blake Spencer, the captains of the teams, have one championship each to their name, but they actually did that on the same team a few years ago.
Once again, Joe, that's got to only escalate that's already increasing tension of this match.
Grant Boyd, like Mr. Belding, saying, hey, 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 what is going on here?
I hope the younger generations get that reference, Joe.
Call Tinkerbell, Dana. Second start of the right and straight on till morning. That ball is off to Neverland.
Is my favorite Disney movie, Joe.
And like Will.i.am, I got a feeling that ball is out of here. Dana, with each passing day, I'm less and less concerned about the score in the game and more concerned about my own home run calls.
Joe, I believe the score is now 5-3.
Good to know. Thanks for keeping track for me. He turns around and goes, yeah. She goes, what?
The gap is narrowing, Joe.
Absolutely. This is the matchup we expected, Dana, with these two teams. The way they played this weekend, the heart and struggle that they've gone through, you would expect nothing less in the championship game.
Big strikeout there, Joe.
Absolutely. Some might say, yeah, absolutely. That'll bring back up Grant Boyd to the plate. Oh, and that one is fouled off into the tree, very close to home.
Could have hit a fan.
Indeed, you got to keep your head on a swivel if you're sitting in those third baseline seats. Ooh, and that one way up high. That was coming at you, Dana.
I told you I'm scared of getting hit in this game.
A break in the action to collect the balls. Derek Thompson takes them out.
Did we ever figure out how many wiffle balls we go through during this weekend?
About 40, Dana, and that's quite a number, but as you can imagine, they hit these balls pretty hard, and broken balls is not uncommon. And here's one for the younger generation. Starships were meant to fly, and so was that ball, Dana.
Nikki would be proud.
Absolutely. Because as you know, if you're a tree, you a tree.
I believe that's if you're a G, you're a G, Joe.
There's no way of knowing with Nicki Minaj, Dana.
So true.
Oh, crushed. And you can tweet that one. Hashtag gone.
Tied game, Joe. Tied game. Did you say that one already, Joe?
You can't be sure, Dana. I came up with these on the ride over here. I'm losing track.
That's it!
You know what, Dana? That's a home run. I don't even know what to say about that. Brian Kenney, after his frustrating performance in the first and second innings, is clearly happy to get that one under his belt.
I just said you see it.
Rockies pull ahead.
How do you get another beer? Brett!
Is that who pulled ahead?
Who wants one? Three. Sam. I'm getting you one. You want one?
Always important to break for beer, Dana.
Other girl.
Dana.
Dana.
She's good.
Porto.
Beer is an important part of baseball, Joe.
Absolutely. You know, the Rockies out there in Colorado obviously drink a lot of Coors, but we wouldn't have that here, would we?
Hell no.
Well said, dear. Well said. And Derek Thompson keeping them high these days. Oh, Grant Boyd gets a piece of that one. Oh, and Derek Thompson gets the strike, and that will end that inning.
Oh, the player!
Elvis the mascot has arrived!
And clearly Dana's excited about that.
Come here.
And we're back in the top of the fourth with the score 6-5. The Rockies taking the lead last inning. Oh, and that one just to the fence, Dana. You can tell Paul wanted that one to carry out. He expected it would. I dare say everyone in the field expected it would.
I sure did, Joe.
And there's no question about that one. That means the Rockies take the lead. The Rays. The Rockies lose the lead, and the Rays go up 7-6.
It's been hard to keep track these last few innings, Joe.
Rockies, Rays, alliterations. Who knows? And that one just inside Dana. I really expected the strike there.
As did I.
Hell yeah.
You know, at the beginning of the season, you might have expected the Rays to be here. They were overall ranked number 2, while the Rockies were ranked number 6. So the Rockies have had the more, I guess, more impressive run, the less expected run to this championship game. Totes and goats.
I always love when the underdog wins, Joe.
That's right. And something interesting that you may notice about Chris Meador, he is always wearing some sort of orange in his uniform, Dana.
Why is that, Joe?
I believe it's because he's a huge University of Illinois fan.
Hey, is that water? Is that water? What? I grabbed him above the keg.
And with Derek Thompson on first, Paul Castellano is up to bat. Sometimes radio silence can be nice, can it not, Dana?
I think so, Joe.
Just let the fans enjoy the game.
Oh, I get that.
And as we see, they're using the standard 32-inch bats and the 8-hole wiffle balls. Dana, they got all of this equipment at Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
I love that slogan.
As Dana knows all too well.
Joe, I'm not sure if that was appropriate for our viewership.
Well, now it certainly isn't. You call attention to it, and it fails to be subtle. Even Paul breaks a smile. It's good to see him having fun out there in this championship game.
Sure is,
Oh,
Joe.
and he takes a hit, and that'll be 2 more balls, and that brings on the walk. It'll bring up Chris Meador wearing those orange shoes. A huge fan of Illinois. Channel's Chief Illini Wake is my understanding.
Joe, what is the age range of players in the league?
Oh, as Chris Meador, it's smack ones to right field, and that'll bring in Derek Thompson. Ground rule double. It's about 17 to 26, Dana, at this time. That age range, you got some high school players all the way up through college, and obviously some graduates of college who have been here since the beginning.
Dedication. Oh.
And that one from Derek Thompson will make it 9 to 6 Rays. And we have some confusion here. We have the first baseline calling it an out, while the third baseline says he was safe. Danny, you'd have to imagine the first baseline would have a better view of that.
I would assume so, Joe.
I'm wondering why they aren't immediately trusting them. And there we go. We finally do get the call right, and the first baseline gets the call. Still 9 to 6, though. Paul Castellano tips that one off, and that was coming straight for you, Dana.
Once again, Joe, you know my fears.
That one goes foul.
Paul very vocal in his frustration.
Absolutely, the Italians are. Not racist, I know a lot of Italians. I tried to get to left side. And Dana, at this time, I feel it's a good time to mention that PNC is the official banking sponsor of the SWBL.
PNC is my bank of choice, Joe.
Absolutely, and Paul Castellano with a rare strikeout to end the inning. And we'll be back, folks. And we're back, Dana. It's the bottom of the 4th.
Currently, Joe, it's 9 to 6 with the Rays leading.
That's right. And that'll bring the MVP of the league and team captain, Blake Spencer, up to bat. Derek Thompson obviously fighting the wind on the mound, struggling with his control. But Dana, at this point in the season, you'd have to imagine that arm strength is starting to wane. They've been playing for 4 days now, and that's a lot of games.
Very taxing, Joe.
Indeed, as Blake Spencer hits it for a single.
Joe, would you say the light weight of the wiffleball bat is helpful or harmful in these games?
Certainly helpful. I don't really see how it could be anything else. As Brian Kenney himself hits a single, and now with runners on base, it's exactly what Grant Boyd was looking for, Dana.
Perfect situation.
Absolutely, but that one...
Except there was a strike.
Indeed, Derek Thompson got his stuff. Ooh, and that one close to 2 strikes there. And he won to the outfield, and that is not necessarily the play he was looking for. Oh, Blake Spencer rounded third as if he was going to come home, but Dana, he slipped and thought better of it and headed back to third, but because of no ghost runners, he will actually come into bat. Brian Kenney will take his place. Now Dana, with one swing, he could tie this up.
I'd love to see that, Joe. I'm not rooting for any particular team. I just want a good game.
Sure you're not rooting for any particular players?
I will not disclose that information, Joe.
Oh, it's clear. Derek Thompson struggling with his control again. Players have gotten a lot of sun this weekend, Dana.
Hope they're using their sunscreen.
You would say that.
Skin cancer, serious stuff, Joe.
No doubt. And Blake Spencer takes the walk. He will take his place at second. Grant Boyd moves to third, and that'll bring back in Brian Kenney. Now, Dana, they've had the runners on base. They're just looking for that hit to bring him in. Brian Kenney can do it. We know, we've seen him go deep.
Well, I'd hate to see what's going to happen if he does not, Joe.
That's true. Hit one through the pitcher's legs, and that'll bring in Grant for the score. And Blake Spencer comes in too. 2-run score for the Rockies, and that means they will have 8. The score now 9-8. They cut the lead. Paul Castellano still positive out there in the outfield, cheering on his team and trying to settle down his pitcher a little bit. Grant Boyd clearly wants to take the lead. He swung hard for that one, Dana.
Yes, he did, Joe.
Oh, and that one Derek Thompson gets, and there's a play at first. Safe at first, and that'll hold the runner at third. Still first and third, Dana. And now this could turn into a great opportunity for the Rockies to take a commanding lead. In this game, you got to feel that runs are going to be at a premium heading into the last inning. Ooh, that one just inside. And that one goes foul, but he's clearly swinging for the fences.
It's a hard hit.
Dana, if that ball flies out of his hand, if that bat flies out of his hands, that might go for a home run. Swinging hard. Derek Thompson not giving him anything to pitch.
Way outside.
And this could be another walk game. Takes a second to collect himself, and maybe this will give Derek Thompson a second to rest and get his pitches back under control. We'll see.
Hasn't been giving Blake much to hit, Joe.
Not at all.
Ooh.
And that one just fouled, Dana, but man, that ball was on a line.
Barely foul.
This will be a full count.
Pressure's on.
Obviously looking to swing here. He hits it, and Paul does not make the catch. Oh, it was? He did?
Play it second.
Oh, that was the play at second. I'm sorry, my confusion. With the downhill slant here, sometimes it's hard to see the second base, Dana.
It is difficult, Joe. One would agree.
But the Rockies take back some of the runs, and they are now only trail 8-9. We'll be back.
Hard to believe, Joe, but we are in the last inning of the season.
The very last inning of regulation, and the Rays lead 9-8. Excuse me. Got a little bit choked up.
It's anyone's game still.
It is anyone's game, and it's good to see. Wouldn't expect anything less from the championship game between these two teams. Chris Meador, the Gold Glove winner this year, up to bat. That Gold Glove won't necessarily help him in the batter's box, though. Oh, but that will. Slices one, and that'll be a single. If possible, the wind is picking up even further, Dana.
Yes, it is, Joe. Treacherous conditions. Derek Thompson up to bat.
That's right, and he takes ball one inside. Ball two. Jiminy Crickets, wish upon a star. That ball is gone. I wish I were a real boy, Dana.
So does Dana.
Things just took a turn for the severely inappropriate, Dana.
As they always seem to with you, Joe.
And that'll make the score 11-8. Warlocks of Wonderland, Dana. I cannot believe that was a single. That one just barely made it outside the bunt line.
I would say Paul lucked out on that one, Joe.
Absolutely. And that's Brett Spencer running across home plate, looking to get the Cy Young Award winner, looking to get his seat along the first baseline. With a cold beer and sun in his face, he can't be complaining right now.
He's got the right idea.
Although I suppose he probably wished he was in this game.
Probably so, Joe, but he's making the best of it.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Dana.
Oh, Chris Meador takes a swing at that one and chops it.
Holy mackerel. Hey, Ray. What do you say, man? How are you?
Oh, and a tough play at first. That means the runners will advance to second and third. Grant Boyd obviously trying to make that out, trying to be a hero for his team.
Some refreshments just went by us, Joe.
Those fans on the first baseline have it pretty good, Dana. Drinking beer, sun in their face, and now they're being brought dessert, it's my understanding.
I believe there are some of our VIPs.
I believe so. And that one hit to center field. That'll bring in 2 runs to extend the Rays' lead to 13-8.
This lead just only seems to be growing, Joe.
Now, Dana, this has to be getting concerning for the Rockies.
What's up, Sam? Nick! What's up, man?
And in the booth, the commissioner is greeting some friends.
Hi, Sam.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Commissioner's a popular guy, Joe.
Absolutely. How could he not be?
Yeah.
Are there any outs, Joe?
I don't believe there are, Dana. A dangerous inning for the Rockies.
I just graduated 2-3 weeks ago. Where are you going? We're back home. I'm going to take advantage of the free eating board for do that for a little bit now and try to
Once again, Joe, it always makes me cringe to see a player get hit with one of those wiffle balls.
Clearly, you don't know the size and weight of a wiffle ball, Dana, because that hardly Hardly hurts at all.
Joe, but the force behind the wiffle could be dangerous.
I see.
Hey, what's up?
So you can watch.
And Paul Castellano crushes one to center field.
Right?
Good to see you.
Me too. Sorry,
A play at second, and that'll be the first out.
What's going on? You guys want a beer? Oh my god. You guys want to set hands? Yeah, we just go an hour
Paul Castellano calling from the score from first base. He clearly hasn't been keeping track, Dana.
Clearly not, Joe, but we have.
Oh, that's right. And Chris Meador got all the way around on that one. He was swinging for the fences. Oh, allergies might be having an effect on him.
What are you doing?
Lots of really outside pitches, Joe.
That's true.
Oh.
Oh, he tomahawks that one to... Oh, and Grant Boyd with the play at first. Pegs him. Wait, there's some confusion here.
Good try, Chris. He was out.
And
Calling it now, I
we
think,
have some
Joe.
discussion.
The commissioner says out. This guy.
And the commissioner raising his fist obviously cannot be overruled. And that'll be the... Yet there is still some challenging. Dana, could this be the benches clearing brawl that we've been looking for all weekend?
I sure hope so, Joe. Entertainment value is important in the game.
And Chris Meador heading back out to first. And now to second. That, I guess he was called safe. Go figure, Dana.
This call could come back to us at the end of the game, Joe.
This could be, could decide the game. Photographer Frank Albanesius has joined us in the booth. Frank, what do you think of the action so far?
Makes for some good photos.
Makes for some good photos indeed.
You can find some of them on the Skibbe Wiffleball site.
Good to know, folks, and that's always a good idea to check out the Skibbe Wiffleball sites for roster information, statistics, updates, and obviously heading into the off season, there'll be rumors and draft updates and everything you could imagine. Derek Thompson hit by a pitch, and Dana always cringes when she sees that.
I can't help it, Joe. Don't like balls flying at me.
Not even going to go near that one, Dana. Not even going to touch it.
I always try to get him.
Dana clearly needs a moment to collect herself. I'm still confused as to whether or not she knew what she was saying. Clearly not.
I always mean things on surface level. Don't read into them.
I see.
John Light's starting to hear starting franchise up here.
Oh, Paul Castellano says, see you later.
7-run rule. Innings over.
And the inning will be over because that is the 7-run mercy rule. We'll be back with the bottom of the 5th and the Rockies' last hope. And we're back in the bottom of the 5th, and Dana, this is the Rockies' last hope. They are down by 8 at this point.
You know, Joe, it's not looking good, but crazier things have happened.
That's true. Oh, and Brian Kenney gets things started. That's what you need, Dana. That's what you like to see. Want to get him on base and give Grant Boyd a chance. You've got to get those base runners.
Yesterday, like, why'd they put that board in?